Sridham Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajadana Ranjana Yadanandana Brajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajadana Ranjana Yadanandana Brajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe. 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 Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Gaur Pimanande. Jai Vishnupada Paramahamsa, Tri Vrajgacharya Stotra Satta, Sri Srimad, His Divine Grace. Shirabai Charan Arvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Svera Prabhupada ki Nanta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Skandi Biti Founder Acharyas Divine Grace Shira Prabhupada ki Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur ki Samavata Bhakti Vrinda ki Harinam Sankirtan ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai Nitai Gaura Pimanande. All gladies to the assembled devotees, all gladies to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and to Sri Gauranga. All glories to Sri Prabhupada ki. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Taksurandritam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Parakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavam Sya Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kancana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansakalpa Tarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Vyaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Narayanam Namaskritya
Narayana Namaskritya
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Narachaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Tato Jayamudiraye.
Tato Jaya Mudiraye.
Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, let us first offer our respectful obeisances unto Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta Prayasha
Nashta
Badreshu
Prayasha Abhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavatam Shloke
Bhagavate Uttama Shlake
Bhaktira Bhavati Naistiki.
Bhakti Bhavati Neshiki.
By regularly hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering a service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome within the heart becomes destroyed practically to nil, and loving devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, becomes established as an irrevocable fact. Idam Bhagavatam
Idam
Nama
Bhagavata Nama
Puranam Brahma Samitam
Purana Brahma Samhitam
Uttama Sloka Charitam
Uttama Shloke Charitam
Sakara Bhagavan Rishi
Chakara Bhagavan Rishi
Nishreyasaya Lokasya
Nishresha Lokesha
Dhanyam Swasyayanam Mahat.
Dhanam Sasyanam Maha.
This Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Grantaraj, the king of all Vedic literatures, is the literary incarnation of God. It is compiled by the incarnation of God, the Srila Vyasadeva. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people. It is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Sri Krishna Chaitanya
Shri Krishna Chaitanya
Prabhu Nityananda
Prabhu Nityananda
Sri Advaita
Sri
Gadadhara
Advaita Gadadhar
Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Brinda.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare
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 Rama Hare
Hare
Rama
Rama Hare Rama
Rama Rama Hare
Rama
Hare
Rama Hare Hare.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Surabhyay
Om
Namaha
Shulabhyai Namaha.
Om Surabhyay Namaha
Om Shulabhyai Namaha.
Om Surabhyay Namaha
Om Shulabhyai Namaha.
Mukam karoti vacharam pangum langayate girim yatkripa tamaham bande Sri Gurum Dinata tamaham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam. Hare Krishna. Welcome to our Bhagavatam class, continuing chapter number 9, the passing away of Bhishmadev. And yesterday we read 2 verses actually that were conveying the similar message. Yes. Grandfather Bhishmadev referring to the time factor as acting and influencing everyone here in the material world. Mm, let's see. So this morning is text number 15, is it? Yes, we read 13, 14, correct. So 1, 5. Mm. Mm. Okay. Yatra
Yatra
dharma
dharma
suto
suto
raja
raja
gada
gada
panir
pani
vrikodaraha
vigodaraha
krishno
Krishna
stri
Sri
gandivam
Gandivam
chapam
Chapam
surit
Surit
krishnas
Krishna
tato
Tato
vipat.
Vipat
Mm. Yatra dharma suto raja
Yatra Dharma Suto Raja
gada panir vrikodaraha
Gada Pani Vigodaraha
krishno stri gandivam chapam
Krishna Sri Gandivam Chapam
surit krishnas tato vipat.
Surit Krishna Tato Vipat
Yatra dharma suto raja
Yatra Dharma Suto Raja
gada pani
Pani Vigodaraha
krishno stri gandivam chapam
Krishna Sri Gandivam Chapam
surit krishnas tato vipat.
Surit Krishna Tato Vipat
Yatra dharma suto raja
Yatra Dharma Suto Raja
gada panir vrikodaraha
Gada Pani Vigodaraha
krishno stri gandivam chapam
Krishna Sri Gandivam
krishnas tato vipat.
Surit Krishna Tato Vipat Yatra Dharma Suto Raja Yatra Dharma Suto Raja Gada Panir Vikodaraha Gada Panir Vikodaraha Krishna Stri Gandivam Chapam Krishna Stri Gandivam Chapam Suhit Krishna Tato Vipad Suhit Krishna Tato Vipad Yatra Dharma Suto Raja Yatra Dharma Suta Raja Gada Panir Vikodaraha Gada Panir Vikodaraha Krishna Sri Gandivam Chapam Krishna Sri Pandivam Chapam Suhit Krishna Tato Vipat Suhit Krishna Tato Vipat Yatra Dharma Suto Raja
Yatra
Yatra
dharma
Dharma
suto
Suto Raja Gada Panir Vikodaraha
gada
Gada Panir
panir vrikodaraha
Vikodaraha Krishna Sri Gandivam Chapam
krishno
Krishna
stri
Sri
gandivam
Gandivam
chapam
Chapam Suhat
surit
Krishna
krishnas
Tato
tato
Vipat
vipat. Yatra
Yatra
dharma
Dharma
suto
Suto
raja
Raja
gada
Gada
panir
Panir
vrikodaraha
Vikodaraha
krishno
Krishna
stri
Sri
gandivam
Gandivam
chapam
Chapam
surit
Suhit
krishnas
Krishna Tato
tato
Vipat
vipat. Yatra
Yatra
where there is
where there is
dharma sutta
Dharma Sutaha
the son of Dharmaraj
the son of Dharmaraj
Raja
Raja
the king
the king
gada panihi
Gada Pani
with his mighty club in hand
with his mighty club in hand
vrikodaraha
Vikodaraha
bhima
Bhima
krishna
Krishna
Arjuna.
Arjuna.
Astri,
Astri.
carrier of the weapon.
Carrier of the weapon.
Mm. Astra is weapon, and Astri, carrier of the weapon. Some little Sanskrit. Uh, Gandivam,
Gandivam.
Gandiva,
Gandiva.
Gandiva,
Gandiva.
Chapam,
Chapam.
bow,
Bow.
not bow, bow.
Bow.
Sometimes people say bow. Surit,
Suhit.
well-being.
Well-being.
I'm sorry, well-wisher.
Visha.
Krishna,
Krishna.
Lord Krishna,
Lord Krishna.
the personality of Godhead.
The personality of Godhead.
Tataha,
Tataha.
thereof.
Thereof.
Vipat,
Vipat.
reverse.
Reverse.
Mm. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Sri Prabhupada ki.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Oh, how wonderful influence of time. It is irreversible. It is irreversible. Otherwise, how can there be reverses? In the presence of King Yudhishthira, the son of the demigod controlling religion, Bhima, the great fighter with a club, the great bowman Arjuna with his mighty weapon Gandiva, and above all, the Lord, the direct well-wisher of the Pandavas. Kindly repeat after me. Oh, how wonderful
Oh, how wonderful
is the influence
is the influence
of inevitable time.
of inevitable time.
It is irreversible.
It is irreversible.
Otherwise,
Otherwise,
how can there be
how can there be
reverses?
how can there be reverses
In the presence of King Yudhishthira,
in the presence of King Yudhishthira,
the son of the demigod
the son of the demigod,
controlling religion,
controlling religion,
Bhima,
Bhima,
the great fighter
the great fighter
with a club,
with a club,
the great bowman Arjuna
the great bowman Arjuna,
with his mighty weapon
with his mighty weapon
Gandiva,
Gandiva,
and above all,
and above all,
the Lord,
the Lord,
the direct well-wisher
the direct well-wisher
of the Pandavas.
of the Pandavas.
Purport. As far as the material or spiritual resources were required, there was no scarcity in the case of the Pandavas. Materially, they were well equipped because two great warriors, namely Bhima and Arjuna, were there. Spiritually, the king himself was the symbol of religion, and above all of them, the personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, was personally concerned with their affairs as the well-wisher. And yet, there were so many reverses on the side of the Pandavas. Despite the power of pious acts, the power of personalities, the power of expert management, and the power of weapons under the direct supervision of Lord Krishna, the Pandavas suffered so many practical reverses, which can only be explained as due to the influence of Kala, inevitable time. Kala is identical with the Lord himself, and therefore the influence of Kala indicates the inexplicable wish of the Lord himself. There is nothing to be lamented when a matter is beyond the control of any human being. Translation again. Oh, how wonderful is the influence of inevitable time. It is irreversible. Otherwise, how can there be reverses in the presence of King Yudhishthira, the son of the demigod controlling religion, Bhima, the great fighter with a club, the great bowman Arjuna with his mighty weapon Gandiva, and above all the Lord, the direct well-wisher of the Pandavas. So same uh, theme is being discussed here. Uh, Even under the best conditions, even under the best favorable, most favorable conditions, uh, we can expect reverses. What is the meaning of reverses?
Good question. And how Prabhupada using it? It's another question.
Right.
Because it looks like not really fitting.
Reverses is like in this direction, then all of a sudden somebody's telling you, oh, this is wrong direction. You have to reverse.
Yeah.
You have to turn around. Yeah. So in the material world, this happens to all of us every day. We're thinking one way or doing something in particular way, then something or someone or somehow something else happens, isn't it? We may have all good intentions to do something, but uh, beyond our control, beyond our planning, uh, we are at times forced to change our what we call a course of action. Actually, Prabhupada uses that word reverses many, many times. Yeah, in different purports, um, explaining that we should expect reverses, even for devotees, even for this is what is being explained here. For such great personalities, such powerful personalities as the Pandavas, even with the presence of the Supreme Lord Himself, they had to undergo so many difficulties in life. Of course, ultimately, uh, with the Battle of Kurukshetra, they came out victorious. Uh, so, uh, so if such great personalities um, can experience what is called reverses, mm, then uh, they were especially, actually this was mentioned before and also will be again repeated by Srila Prabhupada, uh, the Pandavas are not suffering due to their sinful activities from the past. Generally, for most people in the material world, um, the suffering that we experience, it is directly connected with our previous sinful activities. So, as long as we are here in the material world, it is to be expected. It is natural that there will be what is called reverses or unexpected changes, which will sometimes actually be very challenging to us. But as in the case of the Pandavas, who were just like small example, uh, Gandhari, Queen Gandhari, very pious, very powerful, very saintly personality. And we know that when she came um, to know that her marriage was arranged, But with someone who was blind, uh, obviously it was like is a big crisis. I mean, it was a major event in her life. And then because in the Vedic culture, one, in order for society to function nicely, properly, in the Vedic culture, within family, uh, the husband actually takes the role of the Prabhu or the Swami. That's why that expression, Swami Stri. Huh? Griha Swami, but still Swami, housemaster. Griha master. They use the same expression actually in Indonesia. They have the same understanding and the same words are there, Swami Stri. Stri, who is uh, who is actually under the protection of the Swami. Just like a student is being guided by the teacher, a disciple is under the protection of the spiritual master. So, not wanting to have a superior position because she can see, since Dhritarashtra, as we know, and the arrangement was made that she was going to marry him. So, as we know, she was in a big trauma. What to do?
Soma means?
Trauma means very, um, very great anxiety. Yeah, trauma. Uh, and so she took this very big vow of blinding herself, which she kept for the whole life. And she had also so many reverses. So, and what was especially most difficult for Kandari was that due to the Battle of Kurukshetra, she lost her 100 sons. So she was, you know, even to lose one son for a mother, what to speak of many sons, it was very uh, traumatic, very difficult. Uh, and therefore, she was very morose. Morose means very sad. And no, she, how to how to explain this? So she went to see Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva, he is Trikalagya. He knows, he sees past, present, and future. So she offered obeisances, knowing that I have been, I remember my previous activities in my previous life. And for the last, I have not committed any sinful activity. And in this life also, I have followed very strictly the principles of Dharma. Why this is happening? Good question. I've been following Dharma, I've been pious. So, as Krishna does, uh, as he did when Arjuna was also lamenting, should I fight? Should I not? I don't want to fight. So Vyasadeva smiled and then he explained, my dear Gandhari, in the life before that, in your eighth, yes, you were a queen, you were a princess. And one morning, you were, after taking bath, coming out, walking on the steps. and on one of the steps there was a snail. Snail is a small, not animal, kind of, what do you call it? Yeah,
Bengal called Samuk.
yeah, they kind of go very slow like that.
He lives in water.
Yeah, there's no water. It's so close to the pond. Yeah. And she stepped on her eggs. The snail had some eggs or whatever, 100, and the snail cursed her. Ah, you are, you have, after 7 lives, you will lose your 100 children. So it means she remembers 7 lives. We cannot even remember yesterday. What to speak of previous lives. So the idea is that we've been in this material world, we don't know. So many things from the past are there. Of course, as grandfather, um, in the next verse actually, that for the Pandavas, that's a different situation. But the vast majority of living entities in the material world, we are caught up in the web of Maya, the web of karmic reaction, isn't it? And therefore, even like somebody, all of us, just like we have all this great fortune of sitting in the Bhagavatam class, of hearing, we have that opportunity. I mean, how many people in the world sit in Bhagavatam class? Even sometimes some of our own devotees don't attend Bhagavatam class. But very few people in the world, now by Prabhupada's mercy, by Mahaprabhu's mercy, gradually more people they're coming to know. See, most people, they live in a very miserable condition. Even though maybe their standard of living may be very nice, especially if you're living in America, for example. Of course, even in America, Prabhupada was telling, I was surprised to see even in America, there's poor people. There are beggars in America also. We think everyone is walking around with so much nice clothes and everybody has car, but not like that. They're beggars. They're beggars even in the richest country in the world. And all of us, we just don't know. We just don't understand how many sinful activities we have committed in the past. So every single detail, every single reaction, every single situation, there is some karma involved. And therefore, these reverses, these difficulties, is part of the. So the more we understand this, then we, as devotees, when we cultivate this knowledge, we will not become overly disturbed. We will more easily accept. And this is how our acharyas explain that a devotee patiently carries on with his duties and activities, accepting whatever reverses, whatever difficulties, whatever challenges may come. Sometimes people will be very nice to us. Sometimes they will not be so nice to us. We should not unnecessarily, when somebody's not nice to us, we should think, oh, maybe I must have done something before, you know. But the natural tendency, our because of our duty, isn't it? Our ahankar. It is actually due to, what is
Ahankar
you
means
are studying Sanskrit also. Huh?
ahankar means like they telling aham means me aham.
What is me? Who
Me
are you?
means
Who are you?
they thinking like they are high level persons like that.
Huh?
High level persons.
High level person. Yes. So Prabhupada explains in his books, you have to read Prabhupada's books in English more. Ahankar means false ego,
Yes.
isn't it? Not everything that is not our true spirit self. That is ahankar, you know. Yes, thinking we are very important, thinking we are very intelligent, etc. Uh,
Mm, false ego means in Sanskrit aham. Aham two type, like aham means I, and aham means ahankar also. So actually aham, which what indicate to false ego,
yes.
that is actually abhay word in Sanskrit. But I indicate that aham word, that is not abhay in Sanskrit language.
Yeah, sometimes in Sanskrit we get into a lot of details, but for the because majority of people, including the majority of devotees, don't know Sanskrit. So actually, in the Bhagavad Gita, it in the Bhagavatam, aham mameti. What is aham mameti?
Aham aham means aham mameti mane mama iti.
Aham mameti.
Aham means aham, mama mane my,
Mine. Yes,
my.
I and mine.
Yeah.
This is our disease in the material world when we identify with the body. Yes. So, so here, Grandfather Bhishmadev is to help Yudhishthira Maharaj understand that actually this happened and it is due to the time factor. So that is an important lesson which he elaborate upon even more. Aham. We have two aham, isn't it?
Yes, yes. This Sanskrit language
One is,
indicate I.
no, both indicate. One indicates I, the soul, and one indicates I, the body.
Yes, yes. Yes, yes.
Yes, if I say I want some water, so this body wants water. I. Yeah, so I, yes, aham, ego. Ego means, uh, aham means ego, either true ego or false ego. True ego is spirit soul. Yeah. False ego is. Any other thoughts on this? Mm. Mm. And that is one of the reasons also why in the Vedic culture, uh, an important quality to develop, which is very difficult for most ordinary people, tolerance, isn't it? When we understand that so many things will happen, even though I, I may not, from my perspective, I may not deserve certain things to happen, but one who is in knowledge will know that, well, so many things will come because of my previous bad activities or sinful activities. So therefore, I must learn to tolerate and accept different situations that will occur and uh, continue to focus on my activities in devotional service. Yeah. Means not overly, not becoming disturbed by all of the different, well, yeah, reverses that take place. And especially, I think in the end here, Prabhupada is telling, whoops, about, yeah, the very last sentence is, there is nothing to be lamented when a matter is beyond the control of any human being. Just like one time, one disciple of Srila Prabhupada, she had one child, son or daughter, I forget, who was in a very disease condition and about to die. And naturally, mothers are always caring and in anxiety about their children. So she went to Srila Prabhupada, and you know, her child was soon to leave the body, and she was asking and praying to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada just told her, chant Hare Krishna, isn't it? It is beyond our control how long we are staying in this body, and therefore we must learn to accept what is inevitable. Material world is described as Mrityu Loka, the place. So we have to that reality, and we can only best do this by taking more and more shelter of the process of devotional service. So any questions on this? No question. Actually, we have time. We'll read the next verse also, which is 1:6. Na yasya karhichit rajan
Nahyasa karhichit rajan
puman veda viditsikam
puman veda vidhitsitam
muhyanti kavayopihi muhyanti.
What before have
Huh?
what somewhat before have muhyanti before yad vijigyashaya
Yukta.
yeah
Yad vijidnasaya yukta.
yad vijigyashaya yukta
Okay. Muhyanti kavayopihi.
muhyanti kavayopihi.
Translation and purport. O King, no one can know the plan of the Lord, Sri Krishna, even though great philosophers inquire exhaustively. They are bewildered. Purport. The bewilderment of Maharaj Yudhishthira over his past sinful acts and the resultant sufferings, etc., is completely negated. What does mean negated? Is completely negated by the great authority Bhishma. Negated means no. To negate means to say it is not true. In other words, Yudhishthira Maharaj was thinking that because of sinful activities, all this suffering is coming, and Grandfather Bhishmadev will be explaining, no, it is not because of that, it is because of Kala, because of providence. So this will be explained more here in the purport. So it is completely negated by the great authority, Bhishma, who is one of the 12 authorized persons. Bhishma wanted to impress upon Maharaj Yudhishthira that since time immemorial, no one, including such demigods as Shiva and Brahma, could ascertain the real plan of the Lord. So what can we understand about it? It is useless also to inquire about it. Even the exhaustive philosophical inquiries of sages cannot ascertain the plan of the Lord. What is Krishna's, why Krishna does what he does, what is Krishna's plan, or we cannot, even great personalities cannot understand. So what is, uh, next line, yes, the best policy. The best policy is simply to abide by the orders of the Lord without argument. The sufferings of the Pandavas were never due to their past deeds. We were discussing, not due to their past karma. The Lord has to execute the plan of establishing the kingdom of virtue, and therefore his own devotees suffered temporarily in order to establish the conquest of virtue. So virtue means what is right, means dharma, the principles of dharma, yes. Bhishmadev was certainly satisfied by seeing the triumph of virtue, and he was glad to see King Yudhishthira on the throne, although he himself fought against him. Even a great fighter like Bhishma could not win the battle of Kurukshetra because the Lord wanted to show that the vice cannot conquer virtue, regardless of who tries to execute it. Bhishmadev was a great devotee of the Lord, but he chose to fight against the Pandavas by the will of the Lord because the Lord wanted to show that a fighter like Bhishma cannot win on the wrong side.
Without Varso can't win.
Huh?
Without Varso means
Without
karma.
virtue, correct. Yes, without virtue, uh, no one can come out successful. Yes. He was not here. He didn't hear the purport. So Prabhupada is giving the clue or the answer when he mentions, oops, uh, yes. What is the best policy? You know, what is meaning of best policy?
Best policy means what is best
Best way, what we do.
Best way.
yes.
Yes, best way. So what is the best way to do?
Tolerate and cooperate. Have to speak a lot. The best thing is to have sadhu sangha, and if you have some anxiety, just open your mind to your best friend.
But most people who have anxiety don't open their mind, they open their mouth.
No,
I mean,
the devotees open their mind, and that's the best to have a sadhu sangha.
yes,
And then in the sadhu sangha, Krishna can influence. So you are alone, you are just causing more and more suffering for yourself, for Krishna. So yeah, I have some difficulties, but still I go to the devotees, and then
yes,
I just try to leave it down. And in any
yes,
situation, like if someone caused a very big sin, still you have to stay in the somehow in the association of
yes.
devotees. So that's we have to understand. That's the only remedy.
Means we need to increase our value of sadhu sangha. How valuable and how rare it is to actually have opportunity to associate with devotees.
Once Prabhupada heard that one leader devotee committed some very bad thing. And then the other leaders just, how to say, it's openly and publicly they told what happened. Papa chastised them very seriously. No, you made them very difficult to
Yes.
come back.
Correct. Yes.
Not the solution that we go and openly say that great person committed that. No, great persons that so many things that we should deal with personal way, not causing more difficulty.
Yeah.
Again, associating with someone.
Yes.
That's his only remedy.
Yes. Yes. Because who is there in the material world who has not committed some blunder or some sinful activity? We are all here in the material world. So therefore our business is to primarily, first and foremost, work on ourselves and not be overly preoccupied. This one is like this one is doing that, this one is coming like this. That is the business of guru or authorized persons. But we have a tendency of wanting to play that role sometimes, which is not good and immediately brings problems. Why? Because that's why within the system of Varna and Ashrama, the different duties and responsibilities of every individual is clearly defined. And just like, of course, that is there also in terms of the basic Vaishnav um, qualities that we should be developing. Uh, when we actually develop the mood and mentality of Trinada Pisanichena, that I am meant to be the Das Anudas Anudas, then if that consciousness is not very deeply embedded within our hearts, within our minds, then very easily, very quickly, there will be a clash, conflict, conflict between one false ego and another false ego. That is ongoing in the material world. Especially those who are not devotees, because they are completely 100% functioning on the false ego. Then that we as devotees, we've not, isn't it, or control our false ego, then also that tendency will be there, and that is happening. Therefore, uh, therefore this is actually mentioned right here. Actually, the best to abide by the orders of the Lord without argument, and that means by the appointed different responsibilities. Instead of arguing with somebody, better, well, one should avoid arguing if there's any kind of, issue or problem. We best approach some authority. Otherwise, if we take it into our own hands, generally it will become difficult, more headache, and more frustration will be there. So spiritual life, Krishna consciousness, is meant to reduce, not only to reduce, but to completely eliminate. To eliminate means to completely take away all kinds of frustration, because Krishna consciousness means to be happy, isn't it? Chant and be happy. That's our formula. Chant and be happy. But we have to learn to be happy, because we are not 24 hours a day chanting. We are having so many different duties and activities. But if we are not cautious, if we're not careful, then our disease condition will appear. Our false ego will become an obstacle. So those who are actually in that higher uh, state of consciousness, they will generally have uh, very good relationship. And those who are less consciousness, they will have difficulty in interacting because that is all on the level of sambandha, which is a very fundamental uh, aspect of our Krishna conscious philosophy, isn't it? Mahaprabhu spoke extensively on these principles, sambandha, abhideya, and prayojana. So sambandha is very, very critical. That noise is coming from. Oh, oh, I forgot. Okay, so I think we can close. One thing important I forgot we can mention is to close this, or who knows? Srimad Bhagavatam ki,
Jai.
Jai Srila Prabhupada ki,
Jai.
Gaura Premanande.